There are some times in life when you want to put the past behind you and you want to embrace the future. You need to embrace the future. And I was in one of those phases when I was in my early 20s. I'd moved from London in England to Austin, Texas. I was really, really excited about this. And I rented a small stone cottage that was the guest house of a larger house that was just a few steps away. And to me, a city girl, it really was in the countryside. The lady's name was Liz Carpenter. She used to be press secretary to Lady Bird Johnson in the White House. She lived, amazing woman. She lived on a hill that looked out over the whole of Austin. And even though it was near Austin, it really was in the countryside. Now, between her house and mine, there was a jacuzzi. This jacuzzi had become very famous because of Liz constantly talking about her jacuzzi. She would say that it would hold 6 Republicans or 8 Democrats. It was a fairly secluded but countrified setting, and I was really pleased because I was expanding my consciousness. I mean, this was the early 80s. I was taking courses on how to commune with nature. I thought perhaps maybe I could even speak in some kind of way with creatures. I mean, I really did. I mean, maybe Dr. Dolittle really lived. And I've always wanted to have a chat with Aslan. And then I was taking courses on expecting a miracle. Expect changes, expect a miracle. And so I wasn't very surprised when I was getting ready for my work. I worked at a radio station, Lady Bird Johnson's radio station, and I was a little late, so I needed to hurry up. And I found myself in the shower with a head full of bubbles. I just shampooed my hair, and I was starting to bend down to get my hair conditioner, which was in a small, squat, round bottle, when it moved. And I thought, well, maybe, as I've been reading in the books that I've been studying, maybe the molecules have rearranged and that it really has leapt. And so I went down a bit further and it leapt again. I thought, this really is rather strange. So I got right down until I was nose to nose with an enormous Texas-sized frog. It had to be a bullfrog. At first, I was not thinking commune with it. I was thinking, it is huge. Aren't frogs toxic? Don't their skins give you warts? Then I thought, no, Geraldine, no, commune. So I was just about to speak to the frog when the frog leapt at me. And I leapt out of the shower, out of the nearest door, which was a door to the outside. So I found myself with a head full of bubbles, starkers, on Liz's high hillside. I wish it wasn't true. And I was thinking, I have to do something. I have to get the frog out into its natural habitat. That's when I saw the jacuzzi. And right by the side of the jacuzzi, there was a leaf skimmer, which was a long stick, and on the end was a circle, and stretched over that circle was netting. I thought, marvelous, marvelous. I will take this, and I will put the edge of it in the shower, and I will talk to the frog in the way that I've been learning, and I will convince the frog to leap onto the netting so I can take him out to the outside. I thought, marvelous. I picked up that leaf skimmer as though I was a medieval knight and it was a lance before me as I strode into the stone cottage. And I put it at the edge of the shower. And then I said, Mr. Frog, please would you leap onto the netting so I can take you outside? The frog did not respond. I thought perhaps I wasn't polite enough. I said, Mr. Frog, would you please jump onto the netting? It's really important and it will be better for you and certainly good for me. And the frog looked at me and went, ribbit. I thought, no, Geraldine, try again. I said, Mr. Frog, and the frog leapt at me, and again I leapt out onto the hillside, starkers, still with the bubbles in my hair. I thought, I've got to do something. I mean, this is not right. Here am I, starkers on this hillside, and there is a naked frog in my shower. We really have to switch places. We need to switch places. And that is when I knew what I should do. So I marched back in there. I got a huge towel. I threw it over the frog. I scooped it up. It started to jump and leap. And I thought, I don't want to commune with this thing. I just want to get rid of it. And I raced outside and I threw it down the hillside, the whole thing. I mean, the towel and the frog. And I thought, good riddance, Mr. Frog. And I went back and I had my shower and I got to work. And so a few hours later, I was chatting away to the receptionist, and I said, you know those courses that I told you that I was taking about communing with nature? She said, yes. I said, well, they're not working. They're not working at all. And I told her the story about the frog, and she said, Geraldine, never mind communing with nature. She said, you should have kissed it. I said, that's very funny. Oh, very funny. She said, no, seriously. She said, what happens if it was the king of the frogs? I mean, really, what happens if you've really insulted the frog and that you've invoked a curse on yourself? She said, in fact, I think you've probably lost your chance. And I thought inside myself, kiss a frog? Don't be stupid, poppycock. But of course, I'm too English to say that. I said, oh, that's so funny. Anyway, I couldn't stop thinking about it all day. I kept trying to put it out of my mind. I kept thinking, ridiculous. But when I got home, I thought, well, it wouldn't hurt to go and find the frog. And maybe apologize. I mean, that's a nice English thing to do. And so I got out to the hillside and I saw the towel and I started clambering down the hillside and I got to the towel and the frog was gone. And so I started calling, Mr. Frog. Mr. Frog, I'm really sorry. Mr. Frog, but there was no frog. Now, I am not stupid enough to think there really was a curse and that I really broke that curse or brought that curse on me. I don't think so. But put it this way, that's been decades ago, and I've been single ever since. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
The rainbow